kind of decorative. I don't really see very well out of them. Welcome, whoever's out there. I see a few people already to a special
Hello.
edition. What's up? Of this is Spirit Talk podcast, but it's a special extra edition. And I'm with Katherine Glass, who lives. Do you live in Concord? You're in
Yep.
Western Massachusetts, and that's where the healing business is, right?
Yep.
Right in downtown Concord.
Yeah, West Concord. Yeah.
Mass, where it all began.
So there's Concord Center, then you cross Route 2 on Main Street, and then there's West Concord, and that's where we are.
Yeah, Concord is a wonderful.
It is. West Concord's more artsy.
Yeah, I need to spend more time there. So I'm in Gloucester, Massachusetts, and
nice.
Katherine and I have both been working as psychics for 30 years. For me, 30. I'm on my 30th year.
Well, I'm a medium too, psychic medium and healing. I actually started as a healer. Are you a medium too? Do you do mediumship readings or just stick to psychic?
No, I do. The readings that I do have included mediumship over the past maybe 20 years without me saying I'm a medium. Just spirits show up.
Oh yeah, it just happens.
I'm feeling a male, I'm feeling a female, and then I kind of go through the process of kind of deduction to kind of figure out more of the qualities of the spirit, and they tell me like qualities that they had in life. They kind of give me this sense of who they were in life. For me, it started to be so uncannily accurate for the person I was reading for. Finally, I just went, I guess I do mediumship too.
Yeah, by default.
Just kind of fell into it. And
it often will open up for psychics.
Right.
Along the journey of their psychic work, if it's going to open up, it'll open up. It can open up for energy healers too. And some people just right off the bat are aware that they're totally mediumistic, and then they don't. I try to tell my students, guys, if you're mediums, you're psychic. Oh no, I'm not a psychic, I'm a medium. Well, you're a psychic if you're a medium. And in the mediumship world of educational mediumship, they say that all mediums are psychic, but not all psychics veer toward mediumship because they are different. Psychic reading is very specifically different than mediumship. You're in two different parts of your brain. You're in two different areas. You're not in your client's aura. You're with spirit, and you're linking with spirit, which is very different than psychic reading. But they do blend and dance and weave for sure.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by you saying the word education.
Well, when you're training in mediumship, I mean, I'm a big advocate for training and classes because there are a lot of rogue readers out there that, are gifted, but they don't have necessarily good ethics or good, what I call psychic manners. It got really popular when TV mediumship came out. It got really popular to appear to walk up to someone in public and just say, "Oh, I see your dead grandmother here." And
did you see that SNL skit with
Yes, but the thing is, it's not good psychic manners to do that. You could scare the crap out of somebody if you do that. You could offend somebody, and of course, for a TV show, those people have all signed releases to have the medium walk up to them and
what was her name? The New Jersey
Teresa, Teresa Caputo.
Yeah, she went by some kind of Long Island.
Long Island medium, yep. And she's totally legit. She's an awesome medium. She's the real deal, without a doubt. Supported by Forever Family Foundation, which is a wonderful nonprofit that certifies mediums, legitimate mediums. It's just that for the television world, you have to make it interesting and fun and to keep the attention. And so I'm just saying education, when you're educated, there is a parameter within which to behave, I believe, as a quality reader. That's all.
Yeah. And some of it's just manners,
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't just walk up to
you can say, "I'm a medium. Would you like me to give you a message? I'm aware of someone around you." You don't just say, "Hey, I got your dead daughter here,"
And just in terms of being, having manners, you wouldn't walk up to someone and go, "That's the wrong color on you." You know what I mean? It's not polite.
Right.
So so people are starting to join. Welcome to Spirit Talk Podcast Special Edition with Katherine Glass, who's also a psychic medium. You do say psychic medium or medium, or do you say both?
I say psychic and medium and healer.
So you use them kind
of teacher
and
author.
Yeah, it's a little tricky, I know, because I remember just having the hardest time deciding what my title would be.
Well,
I
as you get
landed.
older in your career and more experience, you're going to be adding more stuff because that's just the way
Yeah.
it is. You know?
I landed on psychic spiritual counselor tarot reader. This is medium.
Yeah.
Kind
I
of.
had psychic spiritual counselor on my title for a long time. That
Yeah.
really is what it is. It's spiritual counseling, and it's certainly not
Yeah.
fortune telling.
That
Yeah.
that that I think that works well. That's a good kind of umbrella. Um, so tell the audience here about just like your elevator speech. What do you tell people when you meet them in an elevator?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have an elevator speech.
Or at a cocktail. How about a cocktail party?
Okay, so the cool fun fact, and it's on my bio, is that I was born in the caul, the caul caul, which is a veil, which is actually the amniotic sac intact, and that is considered for long folkloric years of whatever ancient metaphysics to be a sign of true psychic ability.
Is
Um,
that is that something that's like it's in your culture? I know I'm half Sicilian, and in the
No, I don't think
Sicilian
it's
culture
cultural.
is
I mean, I don't
yeah.
know. Maybe it comes from Celtic wisdom. I know that the sailors, hundreds of years ago, used to buy pieces of caul, pieces of amniotic sac, to wear around their neck to protect them at sea.
The
There's
C
some
A U
mystical
C A
quality.
U C A U L. I hadn't
Yep.
heard. Okay, because I don't call it that, and like
The
I haven't
hood,
heard called that.
the hood, the caul, the veil, whatever.
Yeah, I've heard the
So
veil.
So my story is that I was born that way, and I come from a lineage of transcendentalists. I'm related to Ralph Waldo Emerson. He's my cousin.
Wait,
My
wait,
mother,
slow down. You're related to what? Ralph Waldo Emerson?
I am, and my grandparents
How?
were theosophists and transcendentalists, and my mom was a tarot reader and a psychic pursuer, not a reader herself. She said I'm not psychic, but she always was into that stuff. Yes, so I am related to Emerson. Yes.
I'm really, really into the whole theosophy movement. Really.
Yeah. So both
Yeah.
my grandparents were into that, and the grandmother of those two was a medium also, not practicing publicly, but her whole life was devoted to spiritual pursuits, spiritual exploration. I was born into a very already set up, bohemian metaphysical scene. And so it wasn't bizarre for me at all to be acknowledged that I had abilities. My mom did my chart once when I was like 16, and she said, "Oh, you're going to become well known for something really unusual." And I was trying to be a performer. My whole family's also in theater. So I wanted to be on the stage and on Broadway and sing and dance. That was what I thought I was going to be doing. And I went to college for that in Boston. I went to the Boston Conservatory of Music,
Oh, cool.
and went to New York City and auditioned and waited tables and sang my little heart out. And by 22 or 23, I just was very disenchanted with the egos involved in that. And I was very sensitive, and I just didn't like to sell myself that way. It was awful. And so I left and became a healer. I wanted to be a massage therapist, and then it just took off from there. Everything just blew open. I went and met Barbara Brennan, and I studied at her school for 4 years,
Oh, I have her book.
energy healing and all the chakra systems, and got a lot of
Yeah.
therapy and a lot of training, because you have to be in therapy while you go to that school so that you clear all your stuff, or as much as you can, to be a conscious healer. And then then the psychic development opened up some more strongly. But my mom did tell me, when I was young, "Oh, you're psychic," and I would say something, and she said, "Oh, you're psychic." She would see it, but she didn't make a big deal about it. She didn't push me in that direction.
Oh,
It just
well, it
evolved.
sounds like she was an astrologer, your
She did
mom?
astrology and she read tarot. She taught theater voice at Yale School of Drama and in New York at Purchase, New York. And she would read tarot for her students. One of them, I remember, was Sigourney Weaver. She was reading, Sigourney had an issue. I won't publicly say it, but.
We all have
and
issues.
and so yeah, my mom said she actually stopped reading because it scared her. She scared herself with the cards because they were so accurate. It kind of freaked her out. Again, she was never trained. When I had a client just the other day who came to me whose mediumship is blowing open out of the blue, kind of really scaring her. Never was pursuing that path. She's in a regular sort of mainstream kind of work career, and where people don't discuss spiritual things. And she came to me and she's very distressed because she's incredibly empathic and psychic, and since she's a child, and now it's coming really strong and she can't ignore it. And so after a session with me, I was just helping guide her, a little bit of counseling, little coaching, little reading. I explained to her, you don't have to fear this. You're in charge. You get to
Yeah.
control. And a lot of people don't know that without training.
Yeah,
Once
I've
you
had
get trained, you're okay. Yeah.
I've had a lot of conversations with people, really good friends included, where it was almost like, "Oh my god, this happened. Oh my god, this happened. Oh my god, this happened." And I would just be like, It's natural. We don't have to get all like upset about it. It's like we all have it, we all have a sixth sense, right?
Right, but
So,
think about how many years since the patriarch got in charge of society that that
yeah.
has been shoved underground as dangerous, scary, because they were controlling with fear. The patriarch wants us to fear everything, and so before the patriarch came, it was all about the goddess, and people
Well,
were doing trance and rituals and all kinds of things which are now deemed as evil or occultist, or dangerous. But none of it's dangerous. It
because
is
they are
natural.
because it's all about women.
Mhm. Well, the feminine aspect, yes, intuition is definitely more feminine.
Everything that you're talking about is connected to the feminine,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
all the patriarch. The reason that there was ever a problem with any of it was because it came from the females.
Right.
It's really it's
Well, and the
amazing. Not that
goddess.
males aren't psychic, because they are, but it's
Yeah.
amazing how
Yeah.
people just feel like they don't have a right to this natural ability,
Mhm.
when it's just, as you know, and I'm sure you teach people. It sounds like you do a lot of teaching. I teach too,
Mhm.
but it sounds like you've done a lot more of that end of things.
Recently, yeah. And
Yeah,
also, Annette, uh the patriarch talking about pushing that down. There's also past life memory and recall of these women and
right,
some men who are
right,
waking up to their psychic ability and getting freaked out because automatically the cellular memory brings up the fear of I'm not safe, right? The soul doesn't have an awareness that we have changed lifetimes or changed bodies. The soul, and I believe, is an eternal record keeper. It's one life, one big long life. We never die. We just change form, right? Energy. But
yeah,
so on a cellular level, you start repeating something from a past life where you had a trauma, and your brain starts going, no, 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 not safe, not safe, danger, danger. But
yeah.
that was a past lifetime. That's not You're not in danger anymore. You can actually openly say on a live video to the public that you're a practicing working psychic, and I'm not going to be burned at a stake, you know. So
Let's hope that never happens again.
been there, done that. Yeah.
I mean, we're working on that. It's
Yeah.
just, it's okay to be who you are.
Yeah.
I also read past lives. I've found that, just like the mediumship, after about 10 years of doing this work, I would be doing a reading and I would really get a strong impression. Like, to me, I don't know how it works for you, but for me, it's like a really quick, almost like a movie clip. I just get like,
Exactly.
like I see that person. Like, it just happened
Exactly.
last night. I wasn't doing a reading. I was at like a little out shopping event here on Main Street where I
Mhm.
am, and I bumped into somebody, and she was selling me some herbs and stuff, and she started talking about her partner, and she said her partner was really afraid of like vomit, and as soon as she said it, I had this whole like
Saw the whole
flash
thing.
of a soul, of a person in a past lifetime in a slave ship in
Wow.
the
Yep.
below deck in the slave ship, and I was like, "Whoa, it's a past life." And we were talking about psychic stuff anyway at the time,
Sure.
and she went, "Oh yeah, that would make sense."
Yep.
So it does. It just kind of pops in, and I call them like our souls. Like, we have blueprints, and that there are impressions in the blueprints.
Yep.
I'm kind of curious to compare notes on this, because my guides told me that we come in and we have so many past lifetimes. There's hundreds, maybe thousands, who knows, but there's a
I'm
lot.
tired.
I think I always say hundreds, but then I think, oh, it could be thousands too. But my sense is that we come in and we have very strong impressions from about 3 to 6 of our past lifetimes that we came to sort of work out. I mean, it's different things. Like, we came to work out relationships that weren't completed, or
Yeah.
resolved, and issues that weren't resolved, and we come in. Often, I think a lot of what you and I do. I sense that we enjoyed it so much and knew how helpful it was, that we wanted to do it again.
I would
And
agree. For the
yeah,
most part,
so
I would agree. Yeah, Look, this is a big topic. First
Yeah.
of all, I totally agree with you. The most recent lifetimes are the lifetimes that are influencing the life you're in now.
But do you think
So
that the most recent ones? Because for me,
yes. So when
just
you
feels
read,
like
when you give a reading for someone and say, they say, would you look at some of my past lives? The 3 to 5 most recent past lives that will show up for a psychic reader doing the past life reading will be ones that are showing up in the person's aura because they have relevance to this lifetime.
yeah, they have relevance to this lifetime. I just
Right.
for me, I don't really just the way because we both work in our different ways. I'll be doing the reading and I'll see something, and then I'll get a wave of like a an impression, and it's
Yep.
a past life. So I don't really have people come in and go, "I'm going to do a past life reading for you." It's kind of like a whole ball of wax with
Exactly. But sweetie,
what I'm
that, in
doing.
my opinion, that comes with years of experience, and that you and I are very
Yeah,
seasoned readers. When
yeah,
I'm teaching beginners, I'm going to give them my whole toolbox, everything I have to offer that I know. And so, starting with some structure, here's, if you want to look at past lives, here's a technique. And so, boom, 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 you do a technique. That way, they have a parameter with which to go into it, rather than feel kind of like, oh, I'm floating. I don't know. Even though they have the ability, they're not confident yet in trusting that ability. So
but
when
when
you
you're
give them a structure or a
yeah.
format, then they go in. But as you do reading after reading, yes, your guides are working with you. You're more seasoned. You know what you're doing, and so they'll go, hey, check this out. This is a pertinent point right now in this reading. Give this, and they'll show you the past life. You know.
So, but when you're doing a reading, how does it work? Like, do you get the impressions like, is it similar to what I was describing?
Yep,
Not
and it has to
teaching, but
do with the topic at the moment that the
right,
client and I are discussing. And it'll just be like a little to the side. Oh, well, that's because I'm seeing this happening. This is a past life you had. I'm seeing this. Do you want to know more? Yes. La la la. And then we go back to the current question about the relationship or the career issue or whatever it is.
right. Yeah, it's very similar. Very,
It
very similar.
definitely flows and weaves. That
Yeah,
that to me is experience. And I
yeah.
mean, maybe there are. I got to tell you that the young ones coming on the planet now are quite evolved. There's some amazing souls coming to
I
our.
thought I say they're a different breed.
Totally. There are a lot of galactics, I think, coming in, a lot of hybrids, a lot of people that are very strongly Arcturian, Pleiadian, all of that. And they have high skills, high level skills. And they
Yeah,
know stuff, and they don't need a whole lot of interference with their way of
and
working.
a lot of them have come in androgynous.
Yeah. Mhm.
I think that's so
Yeah.
fascinating. It's so fascinating, and the old patriarchy can't deal with that.
Well,
It's just
I think the angelic realm is fairly androgynous. I mean, even in
yeah,
the ancient Vedic scriptures, they
yeah.
talk about the higher planets, the higher planetary systems. They don't have necessarily defined. They don't have organs, sexual organs. They're very, androgynous. The Gandharvas, the high beings, the angels. You
I
can
don't
read them
really
in.
go I don't go into the galactic stuff very much because it can just get a little too overwhelming. I was doing a little bit of stargazing the other night. I live in Rockport right now.
Yeah.
Um, and so
Nice.
there was a meteor shower the other
Yeah. Did you see it?
one
I wanted to, but I was sleeping.
I went to the darkest area I could find right at the edge of the ocean, and I'm looking up at the stars, and it was just, oh my god, it was just so beautiful. And I
Oh,
did see shooting stars. And today I was on my morning walk, and I went, why didn't I take out my binoculars? I totally forgot. They were in the
wow. But what did you feel when you
but
were
that's
experiencing?
well, that was the thing. It was like I'm looking up at the stars and I'm going, this is I think the reason I don't go into that intergalactic stuff with I know everyone wants to talk about aliens and the Pleiadians and the Arcturians and all this stuff, and I don't really go there. It's not that I don't believe in that, but I recognize that to me it's so huge. It's like it almost like is too much. I almost go on I don't have like the bandwidth or on overload to even scratch the surface of what's going on the galactic. I definitely know that there are aliens, and when people ask me about ETs, I say they've been here all along, and we
Absolutely.
just can't
But see,
see them.
that's your knowing. So you don't need to worry about it. Just be who you are. And if you care to open up more to that, maybe organically you will be led to.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I just I guess I feel like I want to be more practical.
Well, I always felt I've spent my whole life feeling incredibly melancholy and homesick, and I didn't know what that was
Yeah,
about.
well, that's part of the path. That's
And I'd
part of
look
the
up at the
journey.
sky
Yeah.
and just be like, I that's home. I want to go home. And then I had a past life Vedic astrology reading, and he said, "Oh, you were a well-known astronomer in a past life." And I said, "Oh, that's cool. I love the
Ah,
stars."
do you know the constellations and all? Do you like
No, I know a
study
few,
that? You
but
know,
I
I'm
was
just
born. I was born to two astrologers, not astronomers, but two
yeah, that
astrologers.
makes sense. Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I bet. Well, I bet in that lifetime you must have done astrology.
probably.
How could you have not? Because it was like everything was based on,
Yeah,
like what astrologers said and what the prophets said and the
right.
seers and
Nostradamus and those guys. Yeah,
and that's why I say too, it's really is amazing that this has been happening, just psychic and seers and prophets and I laugh when a real staunch Christian says to me, "Oh, that's of the devil." I just turn around and I say, "What were the prophets?" But
right,
they're right in that book that you're reading. There, the prophecies are in there, and people do prophesize. And so,
right.
how come I'm doing the devil's work? How does that line
I
up?
think if that were to be read between the lines in the Bible, I think it's more about um, when human beings' egos get wrapped up in the abuse of power based on that ability.
Yeah.
That's where it can be evil or dangerous. Or when you start worshiping and thinking that you're godlike because you can do this. I mean, that's the only thing I can come up with as. And of course, you can use your god-given gifts or whatever nature-given gifts for evil intent. You can cast spells and harm people's energy fields. Sure, that's abuse of power. That's dark
Have you
sorcery.
have you have you encountered? Do you read tarot?
I don't. I do it
Oh, okay.
intuitively, but I always use a book. I grew up with the
Okay,
rider
because
deck.
like I got my start professionally in Nashville. I lived in Nashville for 11 years, and I, they, people would say like, you read them tarot cards.
Carrot cards,
Those
tarot cards.
tarot cards, they're of the devil. And then I'd be really into Halloween. They'd be like, that's a devil's birthday. So, I would hear, did you know that? I would hear that stuff. And I really was like, wow, that's so odd because I've always wanted to help people,
Yeah,
and I'd think about how many people I was helping and how many people I have helped. And it's like,
yeah,
how can that be like dark? But
exactly.
I just wonder if I don't know if you've ever lived in the South, but I wonder if you ever encounter people that have resistance to
Oh my God, my
what you
brother
do.
became a born again Christian and I was a
Oh
medium and he
no.
struggled with it really hard. I became born again at 15. I had a powerful experience of praying in tongues and all of that, but I couldn't stay with the church because it was their dogmatic version was too limiting for me. But my love and devotion to the divine, to God, absolutely is in my soul. So when my brother became strict born again, by the book, I call them younger souls. He had the gift of prophecy also, actually, but he hated the occultism in my family, my mother and the Ouija board and her astrology and the tarot cards and me and my mediumship. And he worked hard to make peace with my being a medium because he did love me. And eventually, he actually left the planet in 2011. He passed away, but he was always just putting the blood of Jesus on me and stuff.
He
And
supports you now.
oh, he totally does, and he gets it, and he went to maybe
Yeah.
his version of paradise, and I will be in mine, and it's all good.
He's over there going, rah, rah, Catherine, you go. I
Yeah,
love it. That is so cool.
he totally supports me, yeah.
So was he a teenager when you went into the Christian real
He
strict?
was 13 when he became a born again, and he was
Yeah.
6 years older than me, so he was an adult when I entered into my profession as a healer, and he loved it. He had an energy healing from me, he loved it, but he was so indoctrined into the particular dogma of that church of acupuncture is the devil, yoga is the devil, all of that. But then he calmed down and evolved over time as he got to know me and my husband and saw that we have a healing center, and he even received help from my husband with his health. So
Yeah.
he loosened the threads a little bit.
That probably was really convincing. Like I have expressed to you, I've been to Jonathan on 2 occasions,
Hmm.
and both times, one I was like a rash, and one was like a lung thing, and both times it only took 1 visit.
Wow, that's great. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a master healer in my
he,
opinion. He's
he
quite
is a he is a master healer. Does he do distance work, or because I'm just
yeah.
asking? We
Yeah,
have people from all over
yep,
here.
he does distance work. He created his own form of energy work too called Jivatma healing, and he's taught several courses and certified people in it. It's amazing. It's a combination of Ayurveda and Chinese meridian medicine and energy healing and the nadis and the it's really cool.
Yeah,
He's
you both have this potpourri of chemistry
yeah,
in the same. Are we,
I'm always hoping to like channel some new form of something that comes just through me. Like I think that's amazing. Like Barbara Brennan's work, it came to her. She did study with Rosalind Bruyere first, and Rosalind had taught the chelation that Barbara uses as her foundation. But I keep thinking, oh, everything's been invented already. There's nothing new. And then here Jonathan comes out with this Jivatma healing, which is Jiv is soul and Atma is the soul, and it's just very cool. I'm like, how did you do that? He channels
is
it.
it only in person that he does that, or does he?
Jivatma? No, he can do it distance.
Well, you can feel free to promote him right now before we continue.
Okay, so his name is Jonathan Glass, and he teaches a beautiful cleanse called the Total Life Cleanse. He's got a book on Amazon. He does 28-day cleanses, and this is full life cleanses, body, mind, and spirit. And he does Jivatma energy healing, acupuncture. He's a naturopathic doctor. He just herbs, supplements, muscle testing, hair analysis, magnetic therapy. He does it all. And
Yeah,
he's 63. He's done this for a long time. So
yeah, he's a master. He's definitely got
yeah.
mastery. It's incredible. Do you work together with clients?
We used to. We used to when we were just little massage therapists when we first met in our 20s. We did the double dolphin massage. We loved dolphins, and so we would both work. I would hold energy while he would work a body part, and vice versa. And that was really fun. But mostly, we just have a healing center together, and once in a while, we'll do a workshop together. Like we'll teach together, and I'll come into his cleanse class, and I'll teach them all about keeping their energy field clean and protected and clear, and the aura, and explain a little bit about the anatomy of the energy field, for example. And then I'll just do like a one-off or two little things, or I'll channel for his clients, and so I use my focus, and he does his focus when we work together.
And so, do you ever have people that come in? This is reminding me when I was in Nashville early on, when I was there in the early '90s. I had a job working for a chiropractor who was very
I
much
did too.
very. Did you really? Yeah, yeah. We
In
have
the early 90s, yes.
very similar paths. It's kind
Yeah.
of weird, but
Yeah.
in a good way. And this guy, the chiropractor, was way out of shape. He was what I considered obese. He was
Oh.
very miserable of a person,
Mhm.
and it just seemed like he shouldn't have been doing this kind of work, because it seemed like he was the kind of guy that wouldn't. His name was Dr. Oberstedt. I'm sure he might be long gone. That's my feeling, but people would come from the like hillbillies from the mountains and
Yeah.
drive hours and hours to work with him, because he
Wow.
did kinesiology, and
Yeah.
he had this something from his one of his past lives, I'm sure,
Yeah.
where he had this unbelievable ability to do kinesiology, which is muscle testing, and to heal the person through
That's
that.
what Jonathan uses, a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like the most unlikely person to channel this energy through. Like I couldn't. I remember I had a little pentacle necklace on, and they wanted me to take it off, and they were really Christian, and it was like, wow, this is so weird. Like he's doing this kind of woo woo work, and people are coming, the hillbillies from the mountains are coming for driving hours to get there,
Yeah.
and they were healed. So I'm wondering if you encounter people that just kind of, you wouldn't think they would get it, right? This is a stereotypical person who's
Oh,
not
yeah.
into this kind of stuff,
Oh,
right?
yeah. No, we get people from all walks of life, believers, non-believers alike, but usually, well, in Jonathan's situation, I've heard them say directly, the clients say in the waiting room, "I've tried everything. I've been to every doctor. This is,
Oh yes,
now I'm
that's the
coming to you."
last.
And I've seen his reviews where they'll say, we did this, and this for my child, and nothing worked, and now the problem's gone after seeing Jonathan." And so, some people will come to it out of desperation. Other people are hard believers in holistic stuff. I'm a fan of always being open-minded to staying humble and blending Eastern and Western together, Eastern, whatever, alternative and
Yeah,
Western medicine,
yeah, it's
allopathic
important.
together, because sometimes it takes a team of healers. I was humbled with both my childbirth situations. I wanted all full on natural in the hot tub, blah, blah. And I ended up with two C-sections and I would have been dead if I didn't. So,
Yeah. Well,
props to that.
have to be safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so fascinating. What do you think about, just on the topic of health? What do you think of the proliferation of just huge pharmaceutical drug promotion, and
Well, if there was a devil, I'd say that was it.
yeah, I agree with you because I'm a human. You and I are both firm believers that the body, I mean, naturally, just like our natural instincts and natural psychic ability, the
Yes,
body
but
knows. The
but
body knows.
but but to be fair, I just went through a healing crisis. I had to have my gallbladder removed, which comes with a childhood disease, that a blood disease we have in our family, hereditary. Now, Barbara Brennan said when I was on her table being healed in front of my whole class, by the way, she was doing an energy healing. I don't have a spleen because of this blood disease. And she said, well, where you come from, you don't need the spleen. You're from the Pleiades. And she channeled this and then she got
Right,
nervous about her reputation, whatever. Anyway, she said that.
right.
But I have a childhood thing that came in karmically, whatever. And so I had my gallbladder removed this past fall. And after the surgery, which went fine and I feel great, I threw a blood clot and I had blood clots in my lungs. And I was
Yeah,
at a life or death choice in that time. And
right.
they gave me a pharmaceutical that has saved my life. So, in
Yeah.
that
I don't
regard,
mean that. I don't mean that. That's not what I mean.
but I'm
Um,
just saying there's always
yeah.
balance, with everything.
Yeah, I don't mean that I'm anti-medicine. What I was curious about was how you feel about the pushing of pharmaceutical drugs, where you're always seeing, if you ever watch TV, you
Rarely, but it's
always see
constant. Yeah.
they're very prolific. I mean, they're
Mhm.
everywhere.
Yeah.
They're just, and they're like a minute long. I just wondered what you felt about what that
I
did to the
feel that
human
there
psyche.
that I feel that that is one thread of many tentacles of sort of some kind of overriding vibe or time that we're in. I mean, in the Vedic scriptures, they call it Kali Yuga. It's a time of anxiety and quarrel. It's called the Iron Age, and
Oh, there's a
it's
name for it.
yes, it's an age of darkness and ignorance, and we are being kind of manipulated to numb out, dumb out, and grab the quickest fix for anything, and not deal with any discomfort, and scroll on our phones and eat crap and rely on pharmaceuticals to make us well. And do I think there's a design to that? 1,000% yes, of
That's,
course.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Of
And
course, it's manipulation, and you have to fight hard to keep your own information. And that's why when I train my students and we learn about the chakra system, I say, clear your crown chakra too. Pull the
yeah,
cords there. Cords in the crown chakra have to do with programming from churches, society, government, schools. You want your own information when you're reading for another or yourself. I want my own information, not what's been programmed into me culturally or otherwise.
do people
Clear that
ever, when
chakra.
you're teaching them that, do they ever seem confused? Like, well, what do you mean? Because you can't see the chords with your eyes.
No, they don't seem confused. They just I said take it on faith, use your imagination.
Oh,
Imagination
okay.
is a huge tool in psychic reading and mediumship. You have an imagination for a reason. It helps you to see and imagine. And from that place, you get validation fed back to you. You understand you're not making it up, but there is imagination involved. So visualize or feel or sense or know or hear a chord of energy going into your crown chakra, because likely there is one. Some people don't have a lot of cords in certain chakras, but we all get corded all day long because cords come from emotional energies. So fear is a cord, right? Programming. You watch something on. Oh my God! This is going to happen. We're going to be invaded. A cord. Pull it out.
Right. Yeah, that's good. That's
You
a
want
good.
your own energy
Yeah,
in
that's a
your
good
in your space.
technique. That's a good technique. I wondered if people felt like,
Thought
uh, uh,
forms. Thought
if
forms.
I have during my live streams that I do 3 times a week, well, 4 times a week really. But during my Psychic News Network live streams, we've started this practice of doing a virtual group hug.
Nice.
There's somebody, I said it jokingly one time, and then somebody picked up on it, and he was like, and he's always asking, let's do a group hug. And the thing that's so interesting about it is that people are telling me they feel it.
Absolutely. It's
And that
consciousness.
surprised
We're
me.
just pure consciousness embodied.
Well,
Yeah.
it surprised me that I didn't think that people would feel it. I mean, I feel it, but I didn't think other people would feel it.
Well,
But I
don't
keep
they
hearing.
say scientifically we're animals when we're embodied? So animals have incredible instincts. We all have those instincts, but our culture has driven us deliberately away from our nature, which is how we started this conversation today. The
Yeah,
goddess, the patriarch, shutting it
yeah,
down. We have been coaxed and coerced and fear driven into avoiding our nature and nature connection with nature. You've heard about earthing, right? Going barefoot on the earth because our frequency matches the frequency of the earth. One of the best healers for your body there is. Just
yeah.
go out on
Well,
the earth every day.
we're made of the earth.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
stars.
So we're coming into the end of the year, and I know that we're in extremely challenging times, and I think you and I are in agreement. I mean, a long time ago, I went to a psychic long before I was doing this work, and she said, and this might be true for everybody. I'm just saying this is what she said for me. You decided to come here. You didn't have to.
Absolutely, you chose
Yeah.
without a doubt.
Like it wasn't like you have to come back and resolve all your
Karma.
karma. You
I
can
was
go
told
back or
this.
you cannot go back.
I was told the same thing. Now, I don't know. I'm probably going to get hated on for saying this,
I know.
but
That's what I was
my
thinking for me.
information is I'm not sure that every soul has that bandwidth of opportunity. I think it's something you grow into over lifetimes or evolve to be able
Yeah.
to have some say in when or where you come back, or whether you do. Others may say, "Oh no, we have choice every time," but I'm not sure because there is a reality about law and karma that's very complex. And the Vedic scriptures, again, I keep mentioning them. They're ancient scriptures. They're amazing because they explain the science of the soul, and it's so cool. All the levels of the astral realm and the cosmos and all the different universes, not just our universe. And it's so mind-boggling and brilliant, but it's all pretty much channeled information. And so I don't know how you validate that, except it makes total sense. It's not just religion and do this, but it is sort of do this if you want this result. And it explains karma and the complexity of karma. And so we, there's one group religion like Hinduism believe you immediately incarnate, you have no say. If you could come back as a dog or a pig, even if you were a human, based on your propensities in that last life. There's no order, but there is order. And so I think some souls volunteer absolutely, or we are compelled because, like you said, I wanted to help people, I want to be of service.
Yeah.
But I think after a series of rounds, maybe you get tired or you forget how hard it is to be here sometimes, and you long for home. That's been my experience. But when I was in the hospital with these blood clots, I knew for sure I didn't want to go yet. I was so like, oh my God, I love my life. I don't know, yes, I love my children and my family, but it was deeper than that. It was a deep
Yeah.
reverence for this opportunity to be here.
Did
And
you
I
feel like
didn't want to leave.
you kind of recommitted?
Kinda, but I still my aches and pains, and I'm tired, and the humanness, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But you knew the power of your body to heal itself. So,
Yeah, I
and,
guess
and
so.
I don't think that there are many people doing this kind of work. And I really, at the
Mm.
risk of sounding like I'm tooting our horns for us, I wish there were more people that were doing what we do.
Toot toot.
I really do. I mean,
Yeah,
because it's so multifaceted and so multi-leveled, and you go deep with a person. I can tell.
yeah,
I go deep with a person. It's like I can see, sense things, and then go into like, and here's what you do, and heal it, and
yeah,
and it comes. I mean, we can speak to what guidance feels like. I know that people get confused, understandably, that they think I hear voices in my head like I'm talking to you right now. I'm sure
yeah.
you get that all the time. What do you mean? What do your guides sound like? What do you mean you hear your guides? I can't hear my guides. And it's like again and again and again I'm saying it's not. Can you imagine having a voice talking to you like I'm talking to you at all?
No.
That sounds really scary.
It's
So
usually the best tip I have for people wanting to know if they're hearing guidance or not. It's real simple. It is in your own reading comprehension voice, what you will hear usually. Um, but the way one way you know that you're receiving something that isn't your head is it's usually pretty much a non sequitur. Like you're doing something and you're washing the dishes or reading a book, and all of a sudden, blah 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 will come in a topic about little boy in a red cap. What is that? I was thinking
Yeah.
about the dish soap. So
Right.
it's usually a non sequitur within a conversation you're having or something else. You'll think about Portugal and an airplane. It's like, okay, what is that about? It's a non sequitur. Or if you're asking for guidance and you're sitting and really sincerely inviting your guides in during a meditation, you usually pose a question like, give me a message for my highest good right now that I need to know, or can you help me direct me to something specific like this new career change? And then close your eyes and get quiet and just allow yourself to free fall in your consciousness, and trusting that there are benevolent beings wanting to assist you, and let them have their say. And it may be cryptic at first if you're not comfortable with it. Like they may say, go near the water. You need water, or dryness is affecting your soul. They may say weird cryptic things, but trust it. Write it down, and then ask for more information. Could you clarify, please? And before you know it, you're having a conversation. And there
So,
are two specific voices in that conversation, yours and the answer. And it's either your higher self, your higher wisdom speaking, or could be a spirit guide or even a loved one helping you out. But it's always benevolent, it's kind, it's supportive. It's never going to direct you to do anything that would harm yourself or anyone else. And you have an instrument, an antenna within you that is a knowing. It's a bodily, full visceral knowing that this is real.
and
You
it
just
takes
have to trust.
practice. It takes practice, and I find that it kind of. I'm not an astrologer, but Kathy's in the chat, I believe.
Hi, Kat.
Kathy, oh,
She's awesome. She's brilliant. In my opinion, that woman is freaking so smart.
crazy
So
story.
smart.
Crazy story about that. I reached out to you. We hadn't met. Catherine and I have not met before. Just
Right.
so everybody knows, this is, and I wanted it to be that way. I wanted it, to be like a first meeting, get to know you and what you do. It's wonderful. Um,
Thank you for that.
Kathy does my she does the astrology spirit talk podcast twice a month with me, as I expressed. And when I told her that I was doing a show with you, she was like, I know her, we know each
That's
other,
what I
we
said.
had
I know
lunch
her.
together. And it's like, well, how can that be? But
Yeah,
that's how it
small
went.
world.
Yeah, so I know a
Soul
little
groups.
bit about astrology, and she's awesome. We have a great time too. uh I know that what I know about astrology is just really from doing thousands of readings, and I know
Mhm.
certain signs of certain qualities. Oftentimes I can guess someone's sign, but in a chart it's so complex, and there are factors that highlight, or
Yeah.
overpower the sun sign. um, I found that it's difficult with people that tend to be, Libras, Cancer, and Pisces, and Gemini. Like, just speaking of teaching people to listen to their guides, right? I meet people frequently, and they're usually one of those four signs, or it's heavily aspected in their chart, those signs. They can't decide if what they're hearing is their authentic guides or higher self, because of the difficulty with deciding.
Wow, I'm really surprised. So, in my opinion, a Cancer and a Pisces is so naturally psychic that it's a no brainer. They're just natural channels.
Well, you practice.
Um, maybe. Um, Gemini's I could see because busy mind, bouncing around, difficult.
Yeah.
Whose voice is that? Well, I don't want to care anyway. I'm going to go do something else. I have Gemini in my chart very strongly, so I get it. Um, sweetie, it's tough for me to talk about astrology, honestly, especially because I want to respect Kathy's here and I love her and
Yeah,
she's a
yeah, no,
Western.
I'm not talking about astrology. I'm just talking about, more
Well,
like
but I have a different
more like.
belief about the signs. So, because I believe there's more to it than just the sun sign and the moon
Yeah,
sign and
but
the
I'm just
rising.
talking about my experience with
Yeah,
having people know that they have a higher power, they have a higher voice, they have spirit guides that are talking to them. I feel like it's hard for somebody who second guesses,
see, I
or
would think that
can't.
would be more with the earth signs like Capricorn, Taurus, because they're more fixed and they're more practical and they're more logical and they wouldn't be open to that part of their mm, human ability, you know? So I don't know if your experiences, those are the signs that repeatedly ask you, I can't, or doubt, maybe it has to do with wishy-washiness or unclarity. I mean,
Well,
Pisces
yeah,
can be so out there.
to just land on it, to just like put a period at the end of the thing that's decided to, like I'm going
Yeah.
to listen to this because it was my guidance impression, but then to put a period at the end of that sentence and not go, but was it? But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Or maybe that wasn't my spirit guide. It's like when you land on it, you have to just stay with what you land on,
Yes, that's true.
and so I just found with those, maybe that's
Yeah,
just my
I mean, I
experience.
don't know. I mean, Kathy would be. You should ask her that on the next show because a full astrology understanding is that there's so many different aspects influencing that particular human being's way of being in life. It's not just their sun sign, rising sign, moon sign. It's where their Venus is. It's where Mercury is. It's how Mercury's
Right.
aspecting something, and their
Yeah, so it
conjunctions and their
might not be directly,
yeah. It may not be just based on their sun sign, is what I'm saying.
in general. It's funny because if someone's having a hard time making decisions in their life, I often go, "Are you a Libra?" And they go, It's happened so many times, and
Yeah,
or "Are you a Pisces?"
there are definitely, stereotypical qualities of each sign. All Aries are warriors. Well, Western astrology, I'm an Aries, but Vedically I'm Pisces and Cancer moon in the first house, and that fits me. That feels like me. Aries, I'm not competitive. I can be brave and outspoken and spontaneous. That's
That's
Aries like.
Aries. Yeah,
But
yeah,
but I
Aries.
feel so much more affinity with my Piscean and Cancerian nature than I ever did with Aries. I'm
Yeah,
full of fear. I'm not fearless. Aries are
that
fearless.
that makes total sense. Yeah, and I'm saying it as a positive, not as a negative, in the
Yeah.
sense that if you know your signs, challenges or
Mhm.
the things that you have to work a little harder at, for somebody who's one of those signs like Libras, I guess it's just kind of stereotypical, can have a hard time making a decision. My best friend says that it's painful to make a
Yeah.
decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just kind of, a
Yeah.
blanket kind of a statement. So I just feel like if I can point out to them that that's just one of the qualities, that's pretty
Right.
general qualities
And something
of
to
the
overcome.
sign.
You don't want to be ruled by your chart. I mean, the sages like Yogananda talks about he would go against his horoscope every day on purpose to try to override with his own will.
Yeah,
Not just,
yeah,
"Oh, it's just fate and destiny. I'm supposed to be an addict. Okay. I'll keep drinking."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like
Yeah, we don't want that. But I was just I'm attempting to make the point that when you want to tune into your guidance, it's important
yeah,
to not question and question and question and go like, oh well, to second guess, and that's hard for people. That's in general.
that's why people get addicted to psychics. They'll keep going back and back, and
Right.
I won't
I
give
don't have
someone a
that
reading for
problem.
any less than 6 months.
I have like, oh, I have to go to Annette. I have to go to Annette. And I'm working on psychic lines, and I never really caught on with the psychic lines because I think,
Neither.
well, first of all, they're really challenging.
Oh, they hang up
And
after 3 minutes. I did it one time and I said, "Never again.
yeah,
I'm not doing
yeah.
this."
I have a friend that made a lot of money on Keen. I think he's
Mhm.
still doing that. And I worked for Miss Cleo back in the day until I saw the tower card come up days before 9/11. The tower card kept coming up, and it freaked me out so much. I just quit working for Miss Cleo. Plus, it didn't
Wow.
pay any.
Yeah.
So it was just not a good
To
experience.
me,
But
the psychic line is like having whiplash. You get on a train as a psychic and you start.
yeah,
I go
yeah,
deep, and so to do that and then shift gear, I couldn't.
yeah, my
I'm like,
guides never made that work. The thing for me that I think is challenging in terms of getting people to sign up as frequently as I would like for readings is that people don't really come back that often,
right. I
and
get my
that's
once a
because
year people. I get my every
yeah,
6 months. So the difficult challenge as a reader, if this is your living, is to have enough. whatever the word is, exposure or whatever, that you're booked out with first time clients and referrals. Referrals is what gets you new client, new client, new client. My most of
Right.
my practice is new people. And then I have people that return, like you said, every year or every, oh, I
Yeah,
had a reading with her
because
3
you're a
years
one
ago.
stop. You're a one stop shop. That's what, that's how I feel. I'm a one stop shop. So it's like you get a reading, and it's like there it is. I don't
Well,
leave a
yeah,
lot
but
of
that's why it's good
questions.
to have other skills. I do mediumship and energy healing and psychic reading. So there's those, and channeling. So there's those different 4 different options they can come for. And then, but sweetie, truth be told, for me, I really feel for psychics who aren't in a dual income family, because I don't think I could live on what I make alone. Oh my God. That's why you
Well,
see
I'm doing it.
psychics developing products and selling all kinds of
Yeah.
things and things online, because they have to make a living at their talent and their God-given gifts. That's great. But it's very draining. I can't do this 40 hours a week. No way. I can't
I'm
read
do-
that much.
I'm doing it. I'm not wealthy, but I am doing it. It took forever for me to get to a point where it's like this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
This is it.
Good
And
for
I
you.
really much prefer having all my energy going in one direction.
Oh yeah.
This
I don't do any other work but this. For 30 years. I haven't done
Yeah,
anything
this
but
is who I
this.
am. This is
I
what I
used to
do.
work in retail. That was fun, but exhausting and didn't pay well.
Well, you're still in sales in a certain way.
No, like fun things, like sparkly things and clothes and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Well, you can still do that too. So let's talk a little bit about what people ask you when they want to know about what you do. What's the most frequent question that you receive?
When they ask me about my career or when I have a client come to me.
When somebody says, "Oh, you're a psychic medium," what do they ask you about it first?
Um, they ask me about it. What is that like? They'll say, what is that like? How do you do that? Is it real? Does it make you
Is it real?
tired?
I've heard that. Is it
Does it
real?
make you tired? Um, I call it, spiritual development when I'm teaching. It's yes, it's psychic training, yes, it's mediumship training, but it's also spiritual development. And when I see clients one on one, it's spiritual development. If I do an event in a theater of mediumship demonstration or channeling higher realms, guides, angelic beings, galactics, it's spiritual development. All I'm really doing is reminding people you're a soul. This ain't the end of the story here. This body. You're eternal and you're a spirit soul, and your ultimate constitutional reason for being at all or existing is to serve. Is to be of service, whatever that means. Some people serve their dog. Some people serve their wives. Some people serve their bank account. You're always serving and in service no matter what you do. So who and what do you want to be of service to?
So
That's what I
what
think
is the
we were doing.
question when people find out that you're a psychic medium? Do they say what is that like? And
Well, usually they go, "What do you do for a living?" And I say, "Do you really want to know?" And
oh,
one of them,
okay.
I told them, one of them, I said, they said yes, and I said, "Well, I'm a medium and a psychic, and I interact a lot with the spirit world." And they said, "Oh my God, I thought you were going to say you were a stripper." Like they were worried I was going to
You
say
can throw
something,
that in.
something clandestine. They,
Shock them.
it was
Yeah,
funny.
I often hear how'd you know you were psychic?
My
Like
mama told me so.
yeah, and
She literally did.
Sonia Choquette. Do you know
Yeah,
her?
I love Sonia. Yeah.
Do you know her personally?
No.
Okay, because
My
she
friend
had
my friend knows her personally, my close friend, and I found her tapes. Remember Nightingale Conant? That
yeah.
Yeah, that's where I found her tapes years ago in the '80s, and I loved her voice back then. She
I know
talked
she
like
sounds like a
this,
little elf.
and I
Yeah,
loved it. Your
she's
psychic
wonderful.
vibes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's a real deal.
totally. And
I'm
she's a
actually
hard ass too as a teacher.
yeah,
She doesn't mess around.
I'm a bit of a my bar is set pretty high in terms of who I really
Yeah,
I'm sure you feel the same way.
absolutely, and it should be
It's
that high, especially in this day
yeah,
and age. It's good that it's all coming out in the mainstream, but at the same time, then you have to be discerning who you're going to give your money to, your vulnerability to. You know.
yeah. Do
hmm
you have an online presence? Are you like I have a YouTube channel.
Oh
Obviously we're
God.
on
So
it.
that's a big thing for that's a big topic for me. I I have gone on and off. I have I don't know if it's shyness or you'd never think I was shy sitting here talking to me, but I always
Never let
show
it
up.
down.
I show up when invited, but I don't drive my own thing yet. And I don't know what that's going to look like coming in the future. I have so many tools to teach, so much to give. And for some reason, I don't want to put myself out there because I feel like I don't want to be one of the thousands that is just talking at people. And so I don't know. I need a reading, Annette.
We can set that up.
I
That
was
would be
told
great.
years ago by a psychic or an
Yeah,
astrologer, you're going to go through media. You're going to become very busy and well known through media. But I've been busy and well known, not doing a lot of social media. I do little things here and there. I could probably do a lot more.
how did the pandemic affect your business?
That was the first time I was driven of my own accord to get on the phone video and make a little tool to help people in the world deal with what's going on in their heads and their fear. I gave them just a 3-minute little technique because it came authentically out of a desire to do that. I wish that it could feel like that every day. If you're going to build a YouTube channel, it's work, man. You got to show up when you don't feel like it.
It's
You
a
got to
lot
be
of work.
disciplined.
It's a
And
lot.
maybe I just don't want to commit to that level of, I got a lot of Pisces.
You would if you had to.
I like to flow.
Desperation is the mother of invention.
There you go. Yeah, that
Yeah,
could.
yeah.
Please
Well,
God, I hope that doesn't happen to me, but it
I
could down
had.
the road.
We get very creative when we have to, pay the
Yes,
bills. Um.
yes, that's
So
true.
when the pandemic hit, that's when I took everything online, and it's so funny because, like, as I mentioned earlier, I was on Main Street last night just talking to a few people, and I said I really have not been around people since like the pandemic hit
Yeah.
because I took everything online, and now my community is you guys. I sorry I can't really see the chat, but I know you're all there. Say, can you see the chat?
Well, I'm kind of blurry without my glasses, but
I just wondered if you could see it,
yeah, I
if
can see
it
it.
was
Yeah,
showing up.
it's all good. You're so authentic, Annette. You are so genuinely you, and
Thank
you're
you.
so real. And that's what people, especially during the pandemic, really needed and wanted. And so you were actually in the perfect sweet spot at that time. It was kind of divine intervention for your career, really, I think.
Oh, okay. That
So
makes
good
sense.
for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's what I did. I just shut everything down. I shut the doors. My office has got all the stuff all over. I mean, it's
I go
just like
back and forth. I
I
went
don't
on to Zoom. I went on to Zoom full time during the pandemic, and then gradually went back to the office because we have a brick and mortar place in
right, but
West Concord where
you
Jonathan works. So yeah.
and he probably had to mask up and
Oh
treat
yeah, we had to shut
clients
down for
masked
3
up.
months. We had to shut down for
Yeah.
3 months, and our amazing landlord then, who is passed since, God rest her soul, she owns Deborah's Natural Gourmet. That's where our business is, above that wonderful
Downstairs.
health food
Yeah,
store.
great
Yeah,
store. Love
and
that.
she gifted us rent for 1 or 2 of those months because she knew,
Oh,
that we work hard, and
that's
um,
sweet.
it was amazing. And so yeah, but then Jonathan went back masked up and everything, and I went back occasionally, not as often. I did a lot from Zoom because it was just that's what people wanted. And plus I
Yeah.
can work all over the world on Zoom. So
It's really expanded what I'm able to do. And
yeah.
as a creative, I really, really love that I can make stuff up and present it and say, come, like I'm having a winter solstice event on Sunday
Yeah.
on Zoom because I can do everything on Zoom now. So I can do classes on Zoom. And then the other day I was like, I want to do a YouTube fundraiser for my channel. So I'm going to read A Christmas Carol
Huh? That's
on
so
the
great.
23rd at 4 in the afternoon Eastern time. Do a live stream. I love that story. It's probably my favorite story. It's so spiritual.
Beautiful. Yes.
Um,
That's
so I come
wonderful.
up with things,
And that's the theatrical side of you as well. See, I like being on stage live. I like doing live audience readings and
Yeah.
channeling and educating. I love that. That would be my next level of where I'd like to do more of. I do a few events a year that way. I don't use my own office enough. I could do more live events right here. I have a big enough space. So that's something I keep pushing myself to do more of. I
We're gonna
love
get you.
collaborating. I love teaming up with other mediums and
Yeah.
holding the energy together. I love doing all that stuff.
Yeah. So we need to get you a YouTube channel.
Uh, well, that's what the astrologer said like 15 years ago. You're going to be on YouTube
Yeah.
and this and that. But I have a channel. I just don't use it.
Well, what's interesting is we also have. I'm struck by how much we have in common. It's like, how haven't we met like
I
before?
don't know.
I
I
don't
hadn't
know.
even heard of you. That's
Eh,
crazy.
yeah. Well, Kathy Beale knew us both.
Yes, and
Those us both.
too, Annette, I was going to say way back during this chat, you said something about very few are doing the work we do. Yes, but maybe not. I think there are a lot of incredibly authentic, good quality
No, not
true
enough.
healer psychic people that are just not in view, that are
Not
doing their
enough.
work humbly and regularly and bringing light to
Yeah,
this planet, in their
I
own
agree with
way.
you, but I'm just saying not enough because there's so much darkness to fight.
I know.
You
It's
know, it's just like, and that makes this work exceedingly important.
There's darkness to fight,
Exceedingly important.
and people are getting numbed out by all the technology. It reminds me of Atlantis, the fall of Atlantis when they got so overwhelmed with their own ability and
I was
power and technology, they destroyed themselves. And I mean, AI is wonderful if it's used right, but it could also create a soulless society.
We can do a whole show on that.
Let's do it.
Because I wasn't, I had the past lifetime in Atlantis, and it was, I really saw how it ended.
Yep. Well, there you go. We should talk about that. I had Lemuria and Atlantis. I want to see what Moonchild. We all find each other eventually. Yeah, beautiful.
Yes,
Annette
we do.
is
That's true. Oh,
beautiful. We
so,
love her. Yes. Cheryl says Annette is beautiful. We love
oh,
her.
thank you, Cheryl. You're a
She is
sweetheart.
beautiful.
You're all sweethearts. The
It's awesome.
similarity that's one of the similarities that struck me. Well, one is that my mom is psychic. She would never say that she was psychic, but
Mine too. Oh
I
my
would
God. Same
listen
thing.
I would listen to things that she would say, and she had a certain quality or tone in her voice. My mom's still with us,
Yeah.
and I would just know when she said it in a certain way that she was making a psychic prediction, or if she had a
Right.
psychic impression, and she was always right. And then I'd say, "Ma, you're so psychic," and she'd go, "No, I'm not psychic." But also on my dad's side, all my grandfather's siblings, there were 13 children. They were in vaudeville, and they were musicians and singers.
We
And
have a lot in common.
I think I'm related to Celine Dion
Oh,
because
wow.
my ancestry is from Quebec,
French Canadian?
and I sing. Yeah, and I'm a singer songwriter. I have a record on Spotify and called "I Feel You."
Wonderful.
Psychic title: "I Feel You."
Oh my God! Yes, we have so much in common. The theatrical
Yeah,
side and the metaphysical side. My mom also. Oh, I'm not psychic. I'm like, are you kidding me? She saw my sister after she died. Full body manifestation. Walked up and
yeah,
down the street with her holding her hand. No, telepathically reassuring my mom because she was obviously so shattered. And I
yeah.
never had a full body materialization in front of me before. I'm
I
a
told
really good medium, but I don't see it like that.
I told my guides early on. I remember the experience of getting the message that I'm a psychic. I was like 19, 18, 19. And I remember distinctly getting the message, "You are psychic. If you want to use it, you can use it, but you don't have to, because like we have
Right.
free will, right?" I was like, either way, it's not like you're going to have a good life or a bad life either way. It's just you choose. And I said, I think I'd like to use it in my mind. I said, I think because I want to help people. And lo and behold, I started reading cards, and went from there. But it's something that we all can access, and I want to teach people to be empowered.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
important that they're empowered. And as far as being out there, and when technology came to be, I always, when I was a kid, I thought I was going to be famous. I literally have a
Me
memory
too. I
saying
had
to
the
a
same thought.
childhood friend, I said to a childhood friend, I think it was in second grade, I said, do you think about when you're going to be famous when you're older? Because I thought everyone thought that they were going to be famous when they were older. Well, I have Mars and Leo in the 10th house of my North Node, and it's all about being on the stage.
Yep.
And I didn't know how it was going to happen until YouTube came along. So technology, as much as we have a love-hate relationship with it, you got to love that we can do this,
Absolutely. You're
that
right.
we can reach people all over the world, and it's our own stage. Being in Nashville as a songwriter, not an employed songwriter, but just being there in that songwriter community,
Yeah.
you couldn't make yourself famous.
No,
This is relatively new, right? You just have
that's
to
true.
get the marketing and work it to get a bigger audience, which is definitely something that I need to do. But you and I are both performers, and that is a tool
It is
that
a tool,
we
and I
were
know that I'm meant to be seen
born
and
with.
out there, but I think I went for training right off the bat with Barbara Brennan. I saw her work on stage. I was moved to tears. I said, that's
Right.
my teacher. I
right.
was called to go, led to go. It came out of the blue. I wanted to be a massage therapist out of the blue. I'd never even had a massage. I was pursuing acting and I hated it. And I went to a therapist and I'm crying. I just want to love people. How can I love people? I think I want to be a massage therapist. And she said, sounds to me like you want to be a massage therapist. And poof, out of the blue, I'm waiting tables in Manhattan. And this lovely older woman comes in and says, I've developed a line of essential oils and I really love your personality. I'd like you to go sell them for me in San Francisco at a fancy department store. I'll pay you $400 a week. This is 1984.
That was a
And
lot.
that was a lot of money then. And I was like, and she said, and I said, I want to study massage. She said, you have to learn lymphatic drainage to do this. You can study massage out in San Francisco, blah, blah, blah. She set me up. I went. My dream happened like within a month of realizing I wanted to do this work.
Is that where you
So
met Barbara Brennan?
I lived in California for a long time. Yes, I saw her do a demonstration in San Francisco, but her school was in New York. And I'm
Ah,
crying. And 5 years later, my husband went to acupuncture school out of Florida. So we moved back to the East Coast and I went to Barbara Brennan School then 5 years later, after being a massage therapist for 12 years and started an energy healing practice. And then I met my psychic development teacher, Sharon Turner. Both of them now, Barbara and Sharon, are in spirit, bless them. And I studied with her for 5 years. I think I went the educational route because I needed confidence in what I knew I was being guided to, but I didn't have any for surety that I was really legit or some. I don't know. All I know is I
but
went to
you
Barbara
knew.
Brennan School. I did an exercise, and it was so easy. It was like falling off a
Yeah,
log. I had to channel or whatever. But
yeah.
acting and trying to get on stage and perform, as much as I loved it, I always felt frozen with fear. Am I good enough? Are they going to give me the part? It's too much stress. I couldn't do it.
Well, for me, it came with the experience. For me, my confidence came with doing more readings and more readings, and that
Yes,
my confidence in what I
absolutely.
do came from that. So I never really went. Well, that's why I asked you about the word education. It was like, well, because I never really, it never occurred to me to like, I didn't think there were psychic schools out there. There may be.
Oh, yeah, there are because you get a platform to practice, and we said it ourselves. Everyone has this ability. It's natural. So some people need an environment and a format that give them the starting off point. Well, how do I do a reading? Do I just sit there and go, no, there's a way, there's an entry in, there's a way to tune into someone, there's a way to open your mouth, there's a way to articulate, there's a way to deliver the information, right? Ethically
Well,
and all of
yeah,
that.
yeah, and two, you could have done it. It's great you got educated. I'm not saying anything against that. I'm just
No,
saying
I was doing it my whole life, but
I'm
not knowing
affirming
it.
you already were doing it. Yeah,
Yeah, I was
some
counseling
people
my
want.
girlfriends all the time, making
Yeah,
peace, helping them with my wisdom that was way older than me.
right.
That was happening. I just didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you went inward and you found it within you. And we live in a world that's into certification and degrees and
Valid. Well, God, in England, the mediums, I mean, there's one of my mentors is English. I love her. And I actually had her come out and teach at my place last year. But they have laws in England. They're strict as
they
hell
have
to
laws in
protect
Salem
the
too.
public, and to protect the mediums. But it's like if a client comes in to see a medium and that medium doesn't make a connection, I mean, obviously, ethically, if I don't make a connection, which rarely has happened, but
Yeah.
I would give their money back. But by the same token, the client doesn't walk in and say, I want my mother and only my mother. And if I don't get my mother, I want my money back. No, you can't do that. That's not how the spirit world works.
I would give them their money back if they said
But
that.
In England, if a client walks in for mediumship and you give a psychic reading, you could be like in trouble. The
What would they
law.
do? Throw you in jail?
I don't know. They make you pay fines or take away your license or I
I
don't
know
know
that
what.
would be really hard to measure that. That's a
It's
lot of
very
layers
patriarchal. It's
there.
very patriarchal. It's because there's so many psychics and mediums in the UK.
Well,
I
did you know that in Salem you have to be licensed to read cards?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Do you ever go to Salem?
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
you have to
not
you have to
not
have a
really my
license.
vibe, to
Yeah,
be
I love
honest.
going to Salem. I'll probably go
I
before the
love it. It's fun. My favorite thing there is Samantha Stevens statue because I loved Bewitched as a
yeah, twinkle twinkle.
kid. But
So well,
it's okay.
how are we gonna end this conversation? It's not easy.
I have no idea. It's up to
Uh,
you. You're the one in charge.
do you have do you have any messages that have come to you? It's that time of year, just maybe a blanket, kind of a vibe on 2024, maybe a few words or a few sentences about the coming year.
Just that it's going to be a very rich ride, a lot of chaos, a lot of growth, a lot of
It's a
chaos, a
rich
lot of
ride,
growth,
everybody.
and to hang on, hang on to your
Yeah,
center, hang on to your center, hang
yeah,
on to your true spiritual connection to your authentic self, because there's going to be a lot of illusion and a lot of truth all at once coming out.
it's
I
gonna
just
be.
channeled that, so
And no, it's gonna be rich. I think that's a good. It's a real positive way to put it. It's gonna be rich.
yeah,
Um, Let me see.
hold on to your seatbelt or whatever.
Yeah, I haven't done my video for my predictions for 2024 yet. I would, because I do that every year, and I used to do it. Just I used to write them out, before I had a channel, like long
I've
ago.
never even attempted. I've never done world events or predictions. I have friends, colleagues, psychic friends who aren't practicing professionally who call me and go, "There's an earthquake coming. I feel it." And boom, there's an earthquake. I don't, that's not where my antenna goes.
See, and then you tell them you're psychic too.
Yeah, well, they know that, but I'm always have been in the realm of healing and relationship and healing soul by soul,
Yeah,
educating and awakening souls to the truth of who they are.
and
That's
that's a
kind of
huge.
my specialty.
It affects the collective, so you're doing world healing.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
Yeah,
you just
love
asked me
that.
to channel a message, so that's what I got. We'll
Yeah, yeah,
see.
no, it's
I
definitely
don't
gonna be
know.
that. I just like the word rich. It's a
Yeah,
nice word.
I could
Um,
probably do it if I put my mind to it. I just haven't.
I Yeah, it takes just sitting down and kind of just tuning in, I think. But in general, it's going to be a year of learning.
I have a question for you before we end, really quick, and
Sure.
I get that people ask me this. I find that, and maybe it's age as I'm aging, and you go through menopause and changes and stuff, but
We
or being
weren't gonna talk,
empathic.
we weren't going to talk about that,
Oh,
remember?
right, I don't care. Anyway, sorry. I find that when I'm in the work, I'm so lit up. I have so much energy. And I find that after the fact, later, after cumulatively, after like several weeks in a row of readings, then I start to feel drained. And I'm like, okay, time to clean out again. Or yeah, I mean, I have a lot of tools and a lot of skills, but I'm also
Yeah.
human. So I'm curious. Do you think all psychics and mediums and workers in the metaphysical world deal with this problem, or do you think it depends on the individual's constitution, or what?
I think that we are programmed, especially as women, to give it all away. And
Not replenish.
I actually feel like my guides don't have me doing 5, 6 readings a day
Oh no, I can't do that
just
many a
to
day anymore.
temper it. Like 3 a day is good.
Yeah, I used to
Um,
do more a day. Can't anymore.
I don't get drained from doing readings. I get energy from doing readings.
I do too when I'm reading.
Oh
It's
my gosh,
later.
I can be in the worst mood.
Yes,
I can just be on it about something, and then I'm like, okay, I got to get to work, and I'm transformed, and then afterwards,
absolutely,
I'm
absolutely.
like,
And my
was I in
yep.
a bad mood?
And my teacher Sharon used to say, if you're feeling shitty, read and you'll feel better.
Yeah, that's
And it's true
interesting.
because you're shifting your dimension, your consciousness is in a
Yeah,
different place.
yeah,
However, we are
true.
physical beings, and if we're embodied and not out of our body all the time, I find that cumulatively sometimes I'm like, oh, I need a break from reading. I'm tired.
Well,
You know?
you would know this in this kind of work. I'm pretty over the top in terms of, I mean, and I know you're the same way. I don't eat anything that's processed. I don't.
Oh yeah,
I make
no,
my own food. I
yeah.
eat organic. I'm
Mhm.
really into like new supplements, and I like to try different things like new vitamins and that kind of thing. And
Look who I live with.
I've always had an interest in that. What's that?
I said, look who I live with. We have a
Yeah,
pharmacy in
that's what
our
I'm
kitchen.
saying. You know this.
I have like a shoe addiction. He's got like a supplement addiction. There is like
Yeah, yeah.
reams of bottles in my house.
Yeah, and for Jonathan, he knows his stuff, so he
Yeah.
knows how to use the supplements,
Yeah.
the right way. But I just mean, as far as keeping energy up, I start every single day. Hardly ever do I start the day without working, going outside and taking a brisk long walk. And
Yes.
we live in a beautiful area. You live in a beautiful area.
Yes.
Concord's
Yeah, and I have
beautiful.
a dog, and oh, definitely, and I have a
Yeah,
train. I work out twice a week, and then every other day in between with the exercises she gives me, and I definitely exercise is huge and really important, and also aerobic, somewhat walking, biking, something,
yeah.
and
For me,
moving energy.
For me, it has to be outdoors. And when I'm going through a wooded area, I always hug a tree.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta hug the
Stuart
tree.
Wilde. Have you heard of Stuart Wilde?
I think so. My son is a big natural guy. He's a farmer and he lives in Portugal. He's home now for Christmas. He's a farmer and he regenerates land with planting trees and he knows about wilderness survival stuff. So I think I've heard that
Oh,
name.
good. Well, Stuart Wilde lived. I think he died in the late '90s. Wayne Dyer knew him.
Yes.
He was
Yes.
an English author, and he wrote a book. One of the first books that I read ever on metaphysics is called The Force. You got to
Wow.
find this book. It's an old book. Might have to go to thrift books to find
But
it.
didn't he die recently? I remember hearing about him
No,
passing.
he died in a car accident. I think it was the early 2000s. It might have been
Okay.
Before Wayne Dyer passed.
Okay.
He
Yep.
was he would call people like us the fringe dwellers.
I see. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Stuart Wilde would say, if you want to feel the force, hug a tree.
Yes. Absolutely. I
And
agree.
you can, speaking of feeling a hug, you can feel the tree hugs you back. I always say that.
Oh my God, yes. And the elementals and the fairy realm. I'm so obsessed with that.
Right.
Go
So
to
when you
Ireland, man.
feel
Go to the UK. You'll feel the energy so strong there.
when you feel drained from doing readings, if that ever happens,
Go
just
out and
go
do hug a tree.
right. I make an effort. See, your life is different. I'm a single woman. I don't have nobody depends on me. My parents
Right.
are elderly. I do look after them, but I
Right.
have siblings that also do.
Yeah.
So it's all about this, and that makes a big difference. Like
Yeah.
because we're all energetic beings, and
It's
if
true.
you have dependents or children, even if they're grown, or a
Yep.
husband,
Your
then
energy is pulled in different directions.
naturally,
That's true.
right? They're calling you, they're texting you. I have
That's true.
none of that. I just this is what I do.
Oh, that must
This
be
is it.
wonderful.
But I knew that early on in life. I knew that when I was a teenager. I never wanted to get married and have a family.
Oh,
It
I did
wasn't it
very
wasn't
much.
like, it was just the way that I was wired. And I have nothing against it, but
No,
I didn't want to have
no,
a family.
I think your soul knows it's karmic or dharmic
It's
path
true.
usually. Because I was born in a very split, chaotic childhood, very gypsy. Move every 2 years, dead sister,
Yeah, yeah.
young,
Yeah,
parents
that's
split, like lots of, and so it's been very healing for me to have a
yeah,
solid family that's lived in the same
definitely.
house for 20 years. I mean, that's just totally 180 from my childhood,
And that
and
was your path. That was the path that your
yeah,
soul
and it
knew
enabled
right
me
for
to
you.
have the togetherness to do this work. And
Right.
your path
Yeah.
has given you what you've needed to commit yourself to this work. Isn't that interesting? Different, everyone
Yeah.
has their own path. Yeah.
Everyone has a different way of, being
Approaching. Yeah.
stable. We need a foundation. We need like a home to work from,
Yeah.
foundation. So, so it's been an interesting journey. I felt like that I had another psychic years ago say, "You already did the mother thing. You've been a mother so many times. When your soul came, it chose to just it wasn't going to do
Yeah.
that this time around. So I'm fine. Never had a baby urge in my life.
Oh, I did big time. I
Yeah,
was the
see,
happiest when I was
because
pregnant, but I had difficult births. I did go to Salem years ago with a friend of mine, and I did have a reading with one of the witches there, and it was wonderful. And she said, "I don't know what you do, honey, but just stay in the psychic." She said, "Don't balance your checkbook. Don't do any of that." And I said, "Oh, that's
yeah,
good that you got me.
yeah, man, that left brain stuff really
Stay in
hangs
the
us up.
psychic. Stay in." And that's she said. That's what I said. I am. I'm an energy healer and a psychic. She said, "Well, just keep at it because that's what you're here to do." I was like,
Yeah,
"Okay, thanks for the validation."
I hire people for the left brain stuff.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of
But see, I think what you do is left brain. Being able to consistently do a show, I mean, that's left
that's
brain.
not left brain. That's all creative.
Okay. Second chakra.
That's all channeling. That's all channeling.
Okay,
So
cool.
it's an interesting life, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty is there's no day is ever the same. I mean, I just create it as I go.
That's wonderful. That's really cool.
And I have wonderful viewers that are so loving. The other day, my birthday was Saturday. I went to the
Happy
post office.
birthday.
Thank you. And I hadn't been to the post
Saji.
office in a few days, and I had all these gifts and money, and I was like, wow. Yeah, you need a
Wow. But
YouTube
see,
channel.
but sweetie, that's reciprocation for what you've given out.
It was so awesome. It made my
Yeah.
day.
That's great.
great. So
Wonderful.
why don't you, before we sign off, just let people know how to reach you? If you have
Okay.
classes,
Sure.
and I'll give
Yeah,
you.
yeah. So, well, I've got a couple cool things coming up. One of them is doable. It's on Zoom. This is until March, though. I'm going to California to do 3 events in Southern California. One in a theater mediumship, but one of them is with two other colleagues of mine. Jill Jackson, who Kathy knows well, Jill M. Jackson. She's a medium and a channel, and Inanna Draper. And we're going to be doing channeling through the veil, high galactic and angelic and information and answering questions both on Zoom and on stage in a place in Southern California, like Agora Hills. But that's going to be on my website or available tickets and on Facebook and stuff like that. I think the link is already out actually to buy tickets for that. It's March 8th at 7 p.m. or something,
Where
California
do people?
time.
Where do people? It's funny you were talking about the galactic stuff and the
Yeah, yeah,
college.
the
Kind of.
static came in.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's like I've events coming up in March for that. But you can reach me, just the best way to reach me is katherineglass.com, KATHERINE glass.com. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook
Oh,
as
right.
Medium Katherine Glass. And then Healing Essence Center is my business in West Concord. And Katherine Glass 22 at Gmail is my email. And I have an assistant who lives in LA who does all my booking and everything.
Great. So katherineglass.com is your website.
Yes.
Yeah.
Catherine.
And
Okay.
check
And
out,
it's a very simple website. I need a new website.
maybe I
Again,
can
technical stuff.
I might be able to hook you up. And
Okay.
also Healing Essence, distance healing is available and distance consulting, right? So anyone who's got physical stuff going on, take advantage of the opportunity to go to, check out Healing Essence and see if
Absolutely. HealingEssenceCenter.com is Jonathan and mine connect group website, and we're both on there. And we have healers coming in who work at our place. It's just we've been there 30 years in the same place.
and they can get on the newsletter list,
Yeah,
right?
that'd be great. Yeah, we have a big newsletter mailing list, and we have all our events on there and
They can
tickets.
do that on the website, healingessence.com. They can just
Yeah,
sign up.
yeah, and I hold events and classes at that place in West Concord. I haven't learned how to do classes on Zoom yet, Annette. I probably should. I keep saying
That's okay. I have my helper do it. I don't set all that up. I have her do it.
I got to find someone to do
Yeah.
that and then
That
commit.
makes sense. You have children.
Yeah.
And to reach me, everybody knows it's psychic.annetteDion.com. Thank you for the happy birthday, Damon. I did see that. And tonight I do the Psychic News Network. It's every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. I do the news from a psychic's perspective. I'm following the news all day, every day. And
Wow. So
Church of
amazing.
Sure, it's a lot of work, but it's
A
worth
lot
it.
of work.
Church of Spirituality is every Sunday at 1. I'm doing a Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and services too. So I have an online, because you mentioned the Theosophy. It's all along those lines. So check it out.
Well, I
The
know that you're not peopling very much, but I think I have to come up to Salem and you got to walk me around Salem with you someday and we'll have lunch.
Let's meet in Salem. That'd be great.
Yeah.
And
We'll have
one
a
more
girl
thing.
date in Salem.
I would love that. I would love to have more psychic friends. Let's do that.
Okay.
And the winter solstice event, you can buy a ticket on psychic.annetteDion.com. It's going to be special. Tell people.
Yeah.
It's
Share.
$50. It's from 4 to 6:30. I'm going to be playing piano. I'm going to be playing
Wow,
holiday
that's
music.
amazing.
Yeah, decorating our Yule logs and having candles. I'm going to tell stories. I'm going to read some Christmas
Are you
stories.
gonna, sweetie? Are you gonna record this? Because I have to do a brunch that day for a family member. I can't.
Yes, I can record it.
That'd be
I'll
great.
send it to you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. Really would.
All right. Well, thank you. I had a
Thank you.
blast. We have 100 thumbs up and 100 people. Wow, that's
Woo!
that's
Thank you
awesome.
so much
You
for
made
having
my
me on. It's really
day.
fun.
Thank you, and thank you guys. And we'll see you again soon. We'll connect and do another show.
Okay, that'd be great.
All right. Say hi to
Bye,
Jonathan.
sweetie. Bye,
Okay.
everybody. I will. Take
Bye.
care. Bye.